Okay, so the way this one's set up is there's 2 of each kind of question, and just like the final, there's 20 different types of questions, just like the final. So I'm going to work through this today, and then tomorrow I'm going to work through the one on Canvas, the practice test. So number 1 says g of x is f of x translated 2 units up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my original... I write my original equation, and then it says it's translated 2 units up, so that means I add 2 at the end. Maybe my computer won't freeze. Okay. So then all I have to do is combine like terms, and I added 2 at the end because up and down is a change to the end. So then I get 3. Absolute value of x minus 2, now it's minus 5. Because negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Okay, so then the second part says h of x is g of x translated 4 units left. So for left and right go inside the absolute value. And what? Yeah. And so what I want to do here is it's going to be opposite the sign. So left is normally negative, so I'm going to add 4. And then this is changing the answer I got right above. So I still have minus 5 at the end. Because that's from the equation they gave me? Yeah. And it still has minus 5 at the end. Questions on number... What? Yeah. Because it's saying... Because up here it says... Why is it not showing? It says h of x is g of x, so it means use your last equation. No, they're still purple. Okay, number 2 works the same way. So this time it wants me to start off by going 3 units down. So down is outside, so I'm going to subtract... no, I'm going to subtract 3 from the outside. I'm going to show my steps, Jerry. So I subtract 3. And then it's 2 absolute value x plus 4 minus 1. Okay, done for the second one. Okay, so then for the second one, to go... What? To go right. Guys, be quiet. I subtract 1 inside. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So I have 2 absolute value x plus 3 minus 1. Questions on number 2. Anyone still need them? Okay, so number 3 is looking for equations that have a vertical stretch. Vertical stretch is a number on the outside that is more than 1. So this is A, B, because signs don't matter, so it can be negative. And then that's all I did. I only put 2. Yeah, it doesn't matter that it has a negative, it just matters if the number's more than 1. Yes, on the outside. Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah. No, negatives don't matter because that just reflects them. And then,
it's just the number.
Yes, the number itself, not the sign. If vertical stretches numbers more than 1. So which ones would those be? Yeah, that one's not. That's nothing. It has no vertical stretch or shrink. It only has a reflection. 0.4. So questions on, yes, questions on 3 or 4. Yeah, if it's negative and there's no number there, it doesn't count. Right. What? How am I doing? For what? Any number is more than 1. More than 1. I only care about the number, not the sign. Don't worry about it. Okay. So moving on to 5 and 6. These ones want me to write the slope-intercept of these two lines. Slope-intercept form, remember, is y equals mx plus b. Slope is m. Y-intercept is b. So I literally plug into that equation. It's going to be y equals negative 4x plus 5. That's it. That's our equation. Cosmos, yes. Okay, so number 6, what's my answer? Questions on number 6. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Everyone, oh, it's, the teachers here made it. I made it. But everyone in Algebra 2 is taking it. Okay, so on 7 and 8, I need to use my slope formula, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then I label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. I plug into the slope formula. I get m equals 10 minus 4 over 0 minus 3. What is 10 minus 4? And 0 minus 3? Can I simplify this anymore? It turns into negative 2. Okay, so I also need to write the equation of the line. So this is my slope. And my y-intercept on these problems will always be the number with the 0. Armando, it will always be the one with the 0. For the final, it will always have one that has a 0. So then what's the number at the end? 10. Questions here? No, it's too slow. BM. Yeah. Because that's the way the final is. Armando, I taught this at the beginning of the year.
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying I've taught this before. You plug it into a different formula. But I'm not going to teach you that formula right now because I'm focusing on... Yes. I'm teaching you what you need to know for the final. No, yeah. Okay, so then on number 8, I label them as well. So this time I have negative 3 minus 2 e over 0 minus 5. Yes. Yes. Okay, so negative 3 minus 2 is 0 minus 5 is negative 5 divided by 5 is positive 1. So when I write my y equals mx plus b, I'm not writing the 1. I'm just writing x. No number in front means the same thing as 1. The computer probably will count you wrong if you put the 1. Okay, so my number at the end here is negative 3. Questions on number 8. Okay. So number 9. Oh, also 1 through 10 are chapters 1. And then 11 through 20 are chapters 2. 21 through 30 are 3. And 31 to 40 are chapter 4. Okay, so this one wants me to write the equation of a line given the slope and that passes through the given point. So it's going to be, this formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Ooh, that's off the screen. And it's slow. I moved it. It's just taking a while. I know. It's so close. Okay, so my slope is m. My point is x1, y1. So Armando, to answer your question, this is the formula I would use. Yeah, I know. Okay, so then I'm gonna literally plug all of these in. It's gonna be y minus 4 equals negative 2 x minus 3. And I can leave it like this. What's that have to do with who's our president? No. No. The final will accept this form. Yes. Like this format. I wrote on the card, Stephanie, what you need to get different letters. So if I wrote, no, Stephanie, if I wrote 100% on your card, then you would get the letter. No, if you get a 68.8, you'll get a D. Yes. Yes. I'll probably put them on the board. Yeah? Yes! That's the percent you need to get on the final to get the grade. No, I just leave it like this. It's fine. So this is my M, X1, Y1. No, she means fail in another class with me. Okay, so you're the one who said it, you did. So I want to subtract negative 2. So in the parentheses, I'm going to write plus 2. And that's my answer. What? Jerry? No? Okay, so, yeah. Because the formula has a minus. Yeah. Okay, so can I move on? Oh, yeah. It'll work. It'll take it too. I'm just saying, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Then do it, Enid. Solve it all the way. You distribute, and then you add the 4 to the other side. Okay, so I'm moving on to number 11. This is just like number 1 and 2, except my equation is a little bit different. This time it has absolute, or not absolute, it has parentheses instead of absolute values. So this one wants me to move. I'm sorry. I'm never going to get through this if you guys keep talking about things that aren't related to this worksheet. There are are 40 questions I need to get through. I don't mind answering questions about what I'm working on, but I don't think I'm gonna get through it if you keep interrupting me with things like that. Okay, so I added 2 at the end because up and down goes outside. -4 plus 2 is -2. Questions on the first part? Okay, so then the next one I'm moving 4 units left. That changes on the inside. And I subtract 4 on the inside. Or wait, no, I add 4. Because left is normally negative, so I want to go opposite. Yeah, I use the one I solved before. Gx, because it says h of x equals gx, so that tells me which one I need to change. And then, if I was typing this on the computer, I wouldn't want to forget my squared. I remember when we took the test, lots of people did that. Yeah, because it'll mark you wrong. Yes. Questions on this? Just turn it off. Then we won't hear it. Okay, so number 2 wants 12 wants me to go 3 units down first. Why did you find my phone? You know exactly where it is. Okay, so then we subtract 3, and it turns into 3 times x minus 2 squared minus 2. What? Okay, the second one wants me to go 1 unit right, so I subtract 1 on the inside, because it's opposite the sign on the inside. So then that gets me x minus 3 squared minus 2. Questions on 11 and 12? Literally the same thing as number 1 and 2, except instead of absolute values, I have parentheses and squared. Does anyone still need it up? Okay. So 13 and 14, oh, you needed it? Sorry. I'll just talk about 13 and 14. 13 and 14, they are parabolas, and I'm going to have to graph them. I'm going to graph them on Desmos. If you want, you could do it on the calculator, but it's easier on Desmos. So, I'm going to do that. So really quickly, I'm going to go to Desmos and type in my first equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the low point on this graph, which happens to be -1, -4. That's going to be my, it's positive on you, right? So then that's my vertex. And I'm going to graph this on my paper so I remember what it looks like. There you go. So my vertex is -1, -4. That's either my high or low point, depending on what the graph looks like. Axis of symmetry is x equals 1. This comes from my x value of the vertex. Okay. So why is it a minimum, Jerry? Yeah, it's a low point, so it's a minimum. And what's the minimum value? -4. And this might be y equals -4, I can't remember. No, it's still the y no matter what. Yeah, so if it's like mountain shaped, then it's a maximum, but it's still the y value. Yes. So increasing is where it's got a positive slope. It has a positive slope on the right side. So this is going to be x is greater than 1, because numbers on the right of 1 are greater than 1. It's decreasing on the left side, so x is less than 1. I like to think of the less than sign looking like the letter L for left. Domain is always all real numbers. Always. I don't think we do anything in this class that isn't. All real numbers. Yes, increasing and decreasing is always x. What's what? Increasing is when it's got a positive slope. Decreasing is when it has a negative slope. So my range here is what? Y greater than or equal to -4. This is also always my y value from my vertex. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, because it's anything up above, so it's greater than. You were asking your question as I was explaining. It's anything above, right? Because it keeps going up. So greater than is up. What? They're the same number, but the sign is different. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go graph number 14. -4. Ooh, this one's like way off. Okay, so my vertex here is 435. That's way off. Yep. Yep, they're both positive. Okay, so I sketched a graph. My y scale is by 5. So my axis of symmetry here is x equals 4. Does it have a maximum or a minimum? Maximum. 35, the y value. Something 4. Left or right? Left. Because it's got, like, the more I go right, the more it goes up. So it's less than 4. Because it's on the left side. What do you mean the other left, Jerry? So then decreasing, Stephanie, after the point, it goes down. So that's why it's greater than 4. Because after 4 it starts going up, but before 4 it starts, let me say this again. Before 4, the line is going up, it hits the peak, and then it starts turning down. So that's where it's decreasing. What's my domain here? And my range? Less than? Because they're going down.
Oh, at the end it's going down.
Mm-hmm. I was pointing at the screen, but you didn't see that because the computer's slow. Okay, so questions on 13 or 14?
Okay.
You don't have questions now? Range is, what part don't you get, the number or the sign? So, you see how these, like, the graph keeps going up? Greater than. Because numbers larger than 4 are up here. Because, like, my y value right here is, like, I meant -4. My y value right here is, like, 5, right? That's larger than -4. Over here, my y values, they go down. So, like, right here, it's 0. 0 is less than 4. Or 35. Yeah, 35. Any other questions here? Okay, so... Okay. These ones want me to find the zeros of the functions. There are 2 ways I can do this. So one way is to literally type it into Desmos. Oh, whoa. That's not what I wanted. Stop it, Desmos. There you go. We'll just start over. Don't worry, my parents gave me money and I couldn't count it all. There's like a bunch of like ones, and I miscounted. I thought a 5 was a 50, or a 50 was a 5. It's okay. Okay, so I'm looking for where it crosses the x-axis. It crosses at 2 and -4. Yeah. Oh, wait. You're fine. I wrote it on my paper wrong. Yeah. So I went back and I wrote this. The other way I could have done this, I'll do this in red. I think it's options and you check the right answer. So like there's 6 numbers given and you check the right. Oh. So then I subtract 4 and then I get x equals -4. I'm showing you the other way. So I set it equal to 0 and solve. So literally I just have to change the signs. -4, +2. So same thing for number 16. What are my zeros here? +3 and -5. Okay, so questions on 15 or 16? Okay. Oh wait, I didn't mean to move it all the way off. Number 17. This one tells me which formula I'm plugging into. I need to find the value of A. So my vertex is always my HK. My passes through is XY. I'm going to plug these 4 into that equation. So I'm going to have -10 equals A, parentheses, -1 minus 3 squared minus 2. So what's the first thing I want to do here? My parentheses, what's -1 minus 3? -4. Then, yeah, so -4 squared is... Okay, so I'm going to write the 16 in front of the A so I don't get confused. Yeah, it's commutative property of multiplication. I got my master's after all. Okay, so then what do I want to do? Add 2 to both sides. -10 plus 2 is... Divide by what? Nope. 16, I'm trying to get the letter A by itself. -8 divided by 16 is... Try again. Yes. No. 0.5. Yeah, because it's the same thing as 1/2 unit. The larger numbers on the bottom. So questions on number 17? Number 18 works the same way. HK, XY. So I'm going to do 11 equals A, 6 minus 4 squared, plus 5. 6 minus 4 is... Okay, then what? Plus. The 5? Oh, you're saying subtract it? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying minus 5 at the end of the equation. What? Divide by 4. A equals 6 divided by 4. Oh wait, you're right. I don't know. I was thinking the other way around. My bad. What? I believe on the final, yes. And I'm pretty sure they're nice decimals that end after 2 places on the final too. But I'm pretty sure there's no rounding needed on it. So if you have to round, you're doing something wrong. Okay, numbers 19 and 20 are kind of the same, except this time we're using a different formula. We're using this one. The x-intercepts are p and q. The passes through, again, is x and y. No HK, PQ. So then this time I'm going to have 2 equals A, 2 minus 3 times 2 minus 6. Okay, so I do parentheses first. What's 2 minus 3? And 2 minus 6? Okay, so this is taking forever. When I have 2 parentheses written together, what do I do with them? Multiply them. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. Divide by 4, 0.5. So questions on 19? Okay, so number 20 works the same. P, Q, X, Y. Why did I make imperfect points? 8 equals A times 8, not X. I wrote X. What? Yeah, so it's going to be 8 plus 2. And then 8 minus 4. So I still have 8 equals A. What's 8 plus 2? And 8 minus 4? Then what? Yeah, I multiply them together, I get 40. Then I can divide by 40. Then I get 0.2. Questions on 20? No. Okay, can I move on? Okay, so 21 and 22 say to solve by factoring. I can factor, and I will factor, but if I absolutely forget how to factor, I can graph it. So I go to x squared minus 3x minus 10. Where it crosses the x-axis should be my answers when I go to solve it by factoring. So I have negative 2 and positive 5. I'm going back to my paper to actually solve it. What multiplies to negative 10 and adds up to negative 3? Try again. Negative 5 and positive 2. So then I have it set up like this, and I take each of those pieces and I set them equal to 0. Yeah. Both ways should work. Wait, both ways should work. So if you can't remember how to factor on the final, you can remember to graph. Okay, so on number 22, what multiplies to 12 and adds to 7? 4 and 3. Questions on 21 and 22? it freaking out on me? Okay. So 23 and 24, these ones want to be factored. I'm pretty sure on the final this is a multiple choice question. So if you can't remember how to factor, you can remember how to FOIL. No, I would want you to FOIL them and check to see which one turns back into the equation. Okay, so on 23, what I want to do over here is I want to take the two n numbers, the 2 and the negative 15, and I'm going to multiply those together. So 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. What multiplies to negative 30 that adds up to negative 1? Yeah, negative 6 and 5. So I'm going to replace my middle number with negative 6 and positive 5. Because these they add up to the same thing as negative x. This is still chapter 2. Wait. Chapter 3. Yep. Okay, so then I'm going to split into my two sets of parentheses, and I'm going to group them. What goes into both 2x and 6x? So on the outside of my parentheses, I write a 2x. 2x squared is just x divided by 2x. And then negative 6x divided by 2x minus 3. On the second set, what do I want to take out? 5. So 5x divided by 5 is minus 3. So notice the two sets in parentheses are the same number. So that's good news. That means I've done it right. Then I go and I write my final answer. My first set of parentheses is going to be 2x plus 5, the outside numbers. And then my second set is just 1x minus 3. I don't have to write it twice, because I'm grouping it together. Multiple choice. So I'm pretty sure on the final this one's a multiple choice, so if you can't remember how to factor, you can remember how to FOIL and check all 4 answers. Okay, so on 24, what is 3 times negative 4? Okay. What multiplies to negative 12 that adds up to negative 4? Negative 6 and positive 2. So okay, so then I group it. What do I want to take out of my first group? 3x. So 3x squared divided by 3x is x. Negative 6x divided by 3x is negative 2. What 2? The green 2? This one? The green 2? Negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. Because I was looking for what multiplied the negative 12 and added up to the negative 4. So the 6 and... That's 3 and 4 is how I got the negative 12, because I took my 2 n numbers. Yeah, but then I was looking for new numbers. Okay, so what goes into my second set of parentheses? X minus 2. Okay. And my final answer? Questions on 24. Do you have to write it, or do you have to do it? You have to do it. Because you need to know how to split up your middle number. So you only have to do it when there's a number out front. If this was just a regular X squared, you wouldn't have to do that stuff. Any other questions? That's later on, that's chapter 4. No, that's fine. Okay, so can I move on to 25? Okay, so these ones are multiplying complex numbers. I'm going to multiply them just like I would multiply polynomials. So I'm going to use the box method. But You could FOIL here if you wanted to. No. Okay, so on my first box I get 3 times 2. Oh, you were telling me. 6. 3 times negative 4i. 2 times 2i. And, yeah, I went down. Negative 4i times 2i. Negative 8i squared. That's fun. Okay. So, I squared is the same thing as what? Yes. And 2i squared is also the same thing as what number? Negative 1. So I replace the I squared with a negative 1. So negative 8 times negative 1 is really positive. Yeah, why would I... Huh? No, I squared equals negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 8 is 8. So I just... No, this is I like imaginary because it's just complex. Okay, so I want to add the 6. What? Jerry, what's 6 plus 8?